Week 13 of the NFL season is upon us. Last week I went 8-6, not the record I wanted or hoped for, but I'll accept it considering I've done worse this season. Only thing to do now is just focus on this week, which is what I plan to do. So in addition to my picks this week, I do have 4 bonus picks this week, and 3 of them are in the 3 Thanksgiving Day games. So I'm calling it the JTS Turkey Day Parlay. So if you want to go bet on these bonus picks, go for it. But you got to take it with a grain of salt. But I feel pretty good about these 3 bonus picks for the Thanksgiving Day games. So the first Thanksgiving Day game is the Chicago Bears against the Detroit Lions. And the bonus pick I have for this is the over at 38.5. I know that Jeff Driscoll's status for the Lions is uncertain, and they may have to go to David Blau, the third-string quarterback, the rookie out of Purdue. And I know that both offenses have struggled all season long. However, I think due to the struggling offenses, I think that these defenses are going to be able to force enough turnovers and give their offenses a short enough field to score at least 20 points apiece. So the score you're kind of hoping for in this, for the over on this, is about 23-20. That'd be definitely good enough because that's at least 43 points. So I'm taking the Bears in this matchup because I just am not sure about the status of Jeff Driscoll, and I'm not really sure what to think of David Blau either. Although we have seen third-string quarterback Devlin Hodges win a game on Sunday Night Football against the Chargers earlier this season. But I will take Chicago in this, and the over at 38.5. Next, we've got the Buffalo Bills and Dallas Cowboys. And what I have in this game as my prop bet, Amari Cooper having 100-plus receiving yards and 1 touchdown. Because Amari Cooper wants to have a bounce-back game after being held catchless last week against the Patriots. And the Cowboys also do better at home as well, and so does Amari Cooper. So I'm taking the Cowboys in this matchup. Although I do think the Bills will keep this close, I think this may end up coming down to maybe a game-winning field goal, because I think the Bills' defense may be able to keep the Bills in this game for as long as possible. But I do think the later on this game goes, I think the better the Cowboys' offense will be. So even if the Cowboys are falling behind, I do have confidence in Dak to lead a come-from-behind victory this week against the Bills. So I'm taking the Cowboys and for Amari Cooper to have 100-plus receiving yards and a touchdown. And the final Thanksgiving Day game, the Saints and the Falcons. And my bonus pick for this is the Saints at -7. I think the Saints beating the Falcons is the lock of the week because the Falcons, they're now back to reality after getting blown out by the Buccaneers last week at home. So right now the Falcons, they've been pushed back to reality, and the Saints, I think they have their confidence back after that game against the Falcons a few weeks ago where they did not score a touchdown. So Saints -7, that is my bonus pick in that game. So to review the JTS Turkey Day Parlay, the over at 38.5 for Chicago and Detroit, Amari Cooper 100-plus receiving yards and a touchdown, and the Saints at -7. So now we're on to the Sunday games, and I'm just going to make this a little bit shorter. It's going to be relatively short compared to the last couple of weeks because I know you guys really want to really celebrate the holiday with your families. So you probably don't have time for my picks this week. So I'm going to make this a little bit quick. The Titans and the Colts. This is one that I'm not really quite sure of. I think this goes in either direction. But I do think it's going to be the Colts. I flipped a coin for this game, and it landed on pick the Colts. I'm just going to pick the Colts in this one. Although the Titans, they've been much better in these last couple of weeks. So I'm taking Indianapolis. Next, we've got the 49ers and the Ravens in what is probably going to be the game of the week. I do have the Ravens, however, because the 49ers, yes, they do look like a legitimate threat to win the NFC and possibly the Super Bowl in Miami. But I just have a hard time picking against Lamar Jackson at this point. Because Lamar Jackson is doing the best amongst quarterbacks this season so far. And it's really hard to go against that. So I'm taking the Ravens, and this is also my fourth and final bonus pick of the week, the over-under. I'm taking the over at 46.5 because I think the Ravens offense is going to be able to score enough points, even if the 49ers were to play lights out on defense. I do think both these offenses will be able to produce enough points to beat the over. So I'm taking Baltimore and the over at 46.5. So the Jets and the Bengals, and this is this week's pick of I have to pick somebody. And my somebody is going to be the Jets. Although the Bengals, they are due for that first win of the season. They have come close in these last few weeks. The third time could be the charm for Cincinnati, but I just don't want to pick for a winless team. But I think that Bengals first win, I think it's coming. And I think it's going to be coming closer than what I suspect and what everybody suspects. But I'm going to take the Jets because they do have some momentum. Although I do think the Bengals, they're probably going to play a close game again this week. Because the Jets right now, they do feel confident after going on this winning streak. So I'm still taking the Jets though, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Bengals won. Next we've got the Browns and the Steelers. The first time that they're meeting ever since that Myles Garrett hitting Mason Rudolph with his helmet. Even though it was 2 weeks ago, this is the first time they're meeting since that incident. And Devlin Hodges is going to be the starting quarterback this week for the Steelers. But I do think Devlin Hodges, I think he's going to be able to pull off another win as a starting quarterback in this league. We've already seen him beat the Chargers, which the Chargers, they may not be having a good season, but at least they've been putting up some decent efforts this season. So I'm going to take the Steelers because I think the Browns, they're going to get a reality check because they're on a winning streak as well as the Jets. So I think the Steelers will win this matchup against Cleveland. Next we got the Eagles and the Dolphins. This is a pretty easy one. I'm taking the Eagles to recover from last week's offensive struggles. And what better way to get your offense back on track is to play the Dolphins. Next, got the Redskins and the Panthers. I'm going to take the Panthers in this matchup because the Redskins winning last week, it was against a struggling Lions team. So I'm going to take Carolina because Christian McCaffrey, he's going to put on another MVP type performance. I'm going to take Carolina in this matchup. Next, we got the Packers and the Giants. I'm taking the Packers to recover from last week's blowout loss against San Francisco. Next, we have Tampa Bay and Jacksonville. And I don't know who to pick in this one either. Although I'm going to pick Tampa Bay because I think that Tampa Bay, I think maybe they have some confidence last week after beating Atlanta. So I will take the Buccaneers to win this matchup over Jacksonville. Because Jacksonville, they have struggled ever since Nick Foles was renamed the starter again. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay because the Jaguars have given me no reason to pick them in these last 3 weeks. Next, we got the Rams and the Cardinals. It wouldn't surprise me if the Cardinals pull off an upset in this game. But I'm going to pick the Rams to win this one, but I do think the Cardinals will keep this game close. I think that Kyler Murray can keep the Cardinals in this game, but I think the Rams, they're going to finally get their break. And it may not look pretty on the win record, but it's still going to be marked as a win. I'm going to take the Rams. Next, we got the Raiders and the Chiefs. And I'm taking the Chiefs. I think it took a little bit for the Chiefs to get back on the plus side of the, maybe not plus side, but to get back on a winning track. I think now that Pat Mahomes, he's been getting better every single week since that injury. I think the Chiefs, we're going to see the Chiefs offense like it was last year. They're going to keep on rolling. I think they're going to win convincingly against these Raiders. We got the Chargers and the Broncos. And this could be classified as I have to pick somebody this week. And I just happen to pick the Chargers because at least, as I covered earlier, the Chargers have at least been putting up some efforts. The Broncos have as well. This is kind of a battle of two teams that have been putting up efforts, but can't produce wins. So this is going to be another game this week that goes in either direction. You can literally flip a coin for this one, but I'm picking the Chargers. Sunday Night Football, we've got the Patriots and the Texans. The last couple of games for the Patriots have not been so good offensively. And for the Texans, maybe they shouldn't have at least won the game against the Colts as early as they did. But I'm going to take New England because eventually we're going to see the Patriots return to their dominant form. They had a dominant performance last week on defense, but we're kind of still waiting for that offense a little bit from these last couple of games, and we may be able to see that this week against the Texans. So I'm taking the Patriots. And finally, Monday Night Football, the Vikings and the Seahawks. And I think this will be a very good game, but I do think it's going to be kind of the same vibes as last year. I think the Seahawks are going to win this game because this is going to be a primetime game, and Kirk Cousins doesn't have a good history with primetime games in games that matter. So I'm going to take the Seahawks in this matchup. I think it's going to be a barn burner in this one. I think the Seahawks win a high-scoring game. I'm going to say 31-27. I think Kirk Cousins will put up some big numbers against Seattle because Seattle's defense, they haven't looked as good this season as they have in the past back with the Legion of Boom. So those are my picks this week. For review, I like the Bears, Cowboys, Saints, Colts, Ravens, Jets, Steelers, Eagles, Panthers, Packers, Buccaneers, Rams, Chiefs, Chargers, Patriots, and Seahawks this week. In addition, my bonus picks, the JTS Turkey Day Parlay, the over 3.5 for Chicago, Detroit, Amari Cooper, 100 plus receiving yards and a touchdown, and the Saints at -7. And my fourth bonus pick of the week, the over 46.5 for the 49ers and the Ravens. So those are my picks. Enjoy your holiday. Enjoy Thanksgiving. Enjoy Black Friday if you're doing Black Friday shopping. And I will see you next time.